on a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shivering light. Cat grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell. Now I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven, this could be hell. Then she lit up a candle and she showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotels California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Her mind is tilted twisted. She's got the Mercedes-Benz. She's got a lot of pretty boys that she calls friends. How they dance in the courtyard, sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember, but boy, some dance to forget. So I called up the captain, please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 949. And still those voices are calling from so far, far away. They wake you up in the middle of the night just to hear them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. Mirrors on the ceiling, the pink champagne lights. And she said, we're all just prisoners here to our own device. And in the massless chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab with their steady knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. Relax, said the night man, we're programmed to receive. You can check out any time, but you can never leave. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place. Plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here.
Hello, my name is Notepad Anon, and it's been like a week since I streamed. Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today, obviously? Today we're going to be just kind of catching up on things. So, let me push my mic a little bit closer. It's been a little bit hectic this past week. I went on vacation to the Florida Keys. I no longer wish to go to the Florida Keys ever again. Really, I get rid of that. There we go. Perfect. Do I want to go back to the Florida Keys anytime soon? No. Never again. The Florida Keys suck. Oh god, I gotta be really persnickety now because of let me play some games here real fast. Let's see. Let's there we go. Now any movement will activate this. Perfect. Yes, hello. Did the Hotel California experience in the Florida Keys. That was since I know none of my friends are watching this, that was probably the most miserable experience I've been through in a while. And that is why I'm calling it the Hotel California experience, because that's what it felt like. It felt like Hotel California, where you can check out, but you can never leave. And it was like, wow, this is truly the worst experience I have ever been on. The Florida Keys were just expensive, hot, and there's nothing to do. It's very fascinating. But I made it out. I am alive. Got stuck in fucking Atlanta for got stuck in Atlanta the other night. That was a lot of fun. This was supposed to be yesterday's stream, but I got stuck in Atlanta. So that was a fun time. Luckily, I'm at the point now where most of the burnt sections of my skin have now successfully been torn off. So I'm down to kind of the final few moments in that regard. So hello everyone. What's the plan today? Yeah, I can't really say there's anything too fun and exciting today, so just wanted to give everyone a heads up there. So if you have any questions about my Hotel California experience, now's the time to ask them. If you want to know why I look a little bit different than usual, because this shirt is too colorful, and the usual method I use to bring myself into existence doesn't work because I am too colorful, and it would either I would have to change the shirt or I would have to find a new one. So I said, nah, I'll just use Fugi Tech. Way I did it with the collab stream on Immortals. And here I am now. Let me do something real fast. Yeah, hearing out of my right ear is still a little precarious. To give you an idea, it's like everything out of my right ear is very muted because I got seawater in it, and anytime I get water in my ear, I can't hear anything for like a week. So yeah, I'm falling apart. Please send help. But yes, so what are we doing today? Well, today we're just gonna be, I guess, I don't really know. We got a few things we need to do today. I think one of the largest things we need to do today is oh, hello phone. One of the largest things we need to do today is double check some things, kind of resituate ourselves of where we are and how we're doing things, and then we need to do the count. So let's do that. Last time we were working on the Fortissimo RPG. Let's open up the Fortissimo RPG. I did finally get how combat is supposed to work. Combat's a little weird, but it should work. So effectively, the concept of the concept I'm kind of flirting with right now is pretty much like a modified engagement system. What does that actually mean? Now, One of the ideas behind Double Cross is that it has engagement. What is engagement, you may ask? Engagement doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of a weird non-entity. All my little notes in my all my nice little notes I made for myself. I worked on things because why fucking wouldn't I? So, effectively, how engagement works like on Double Cross's table is effectively either you are engaged or you're not engaged. There's pretty much two states of being. Now, you can kind of modify this. For example, if, let's say, this is our entire battle sphere, and this is the only movable area, where it's like, okay, we can't, if I want to engage this person behind here, I want to, if 3 wants to engage 1, he can't do that. This is a untenable zone. We cannot move there. So we would have to engage 2. There's things like that, but at the end of the day, Double Cross is really about firing off a bunch of different powers at one another to try to kill one another, and just these two states of being are good enough. However, the modified version I was thinking of, I'm getting pinged again. Who's pinging me? Oh, God. But generally speaking, that's kind of the basic idea. There's two states of being. So I thought to myself, hey, what's the plan here? How do we expand the engagement system? How do we make this system not better, but different enough just to accommodate Fortissimo? Because the idea behind Fortissimo is that things are explosive. Relatively speaking, in Double Cross, you don't evaporate terrain. Like, you may evaporate people, but never really terrain. You are relatively normal people, if that makes sense. Just really heavily modified. You are, you're fucking, I believe his name is Alex from Double Cross. Not Double Cross. Alex from Prototype. You are a bigger person. You're really strong, don't get me wrong. You can do anime bullshit violence, but not like, I'm going to snap my fingers and blow up the entire world kind of thing. Fortissimo is that way. It's more like Jujutsu Kaisen in that regard, where a single technique can decimate a city block if you know what you're doing. So, we need to accommodate that. How was your forced vacation, boss man? It was a colossal mistake on every physical front. Every single facet of being, it was a colossal mistake. I did see a really cool aquarium, though. The aquarium was neat. Scale to no to yes, sunburn. My chest, arms, legs, back, most of my body got a good tan. My shoulders, however, got fucking evaporated. They are, currently, both sides are, peeling away. It's not as bad as it was, ironically. But, I'm peeling away slowly and suddenly. I'm nothing too extreme. I'm not like in, constant agonizing burn victim pain or anything, but I did get burned pretty bad. Just that first day was really bad, and I was just kind of hanging out in the sun and just kind of sitting there, and I just didn't quite. It's one of those things where you don't quite realize that you're getting really burnt. Because the thing is, I don't burn very easily. That's the thing. Like, there is this. I hit a point where where I tan really well, and then after I hit that point, there's a very delicate section in which I just get lit on fire. I hit that point, and I realized I hit that point. However, I was 6 beers in with absolutely zero food in me. I got a little bit fucked up, and but that kind of defined. Yeah, that kind of defined a vast majority of my time there. Is I planned something, and then I immediately would be like, well, this is a mistake. But just generally speaking, yeah, no, that trip was not great. Saw my friends, saw someone I genuinely do not like, just genuinely dislike them at a fundamental level. And dealt with a woman I literally met that week. I met her for the first time, actually talked to her mano a mano for the very first time on when they landed in Miami to meet us. That's when I actually saw them. That's the first time I met them. And the extent of our conversations and our actual, like, talking to one another ended there as well. I had nothing to talk to her about. She is how do I want to word this? She was very separate from everyone else, and there was a very distinct piece of knowledge that was going to be the case. I knew that. I think a couple other people knew that, but it was yay. Turns out it's kind of hard to talk to someone you've never actually met before, and have nothing in common with them. Literally at all. Nothing in common. It was a lot of fun. Let's see. Things are explosive. And it's one of the other bigger ideas here is that range is kind of a meme. You know, range is kind of a meme. Now, what do I mean by that? Range is kind of a meme is not the idea of, oh, hey, my attack can hit you from here, and, like, I am further away from you, or I am, you know, not like that. What I mean by range is kind of a meme is it doesn't really matter how fast you're going. It doesn't matter that you are, you know, like, we're far away from one another. However, one of us has super duper hyper speed, so we're technically, like, right next to each other. Like, the actual distances between things doesn't matter. All that matters is that you are or are not doing something. Good Kabarachi. Jesus Christmas Christ. Yeah, no, it turns out when your shoulders are burnt beyond recognition, things hurt to move. Yeah, well, let me readjust myself here. If I'm a little loud or a little quiet, tell me. Again, I can't hear out of one of my ears, so it's been a little hectic for me today. Going for aloe. Well, here's the secret. I burnt the shit out of myself, and I couldn't get any aloe vera, so I didn't. I literally just man-moded the entire time. I just powered through it. No ice pack tricks. No aloe vera. I gritted my teeth and I dealt with it, and I'm still dealing with it. I'm firmly in the recovery phase, if that makes sense. I'm very firmly in the recovery phase. Nothing too, I don't think there's anything too serious. Did you fuck yourself up? Just a mild sunburn and the catastrophic waste of time, energy, my own sense of self, and my you know, just literally everything was a colossal mistake on that trip. Legitimately, pretty much everything, outside of the fact that I got to see my friends. well, one of my friends, probably for the last time, like physically see him probably for the last time. But what happened anyway. We went to the Florida Keys, and fun fact about the Florida Keys, there is nothing in the Florida Keys. There is nothing to do. I'm going to give you an idea of kind of the resort we were in. So the resort we were in had a big central building. This big building was where all the basic hotels were, as well as like the reservation desk and stuff. Behind this is just imagine this is behind. There was this big pool, and everyone went to, and a marketplace. Now, the secret behind the marketplace was that it was an extortion area. You were extorted when you went to the market. You want to buy a Slim Jim? It's too bad. You're going to spend $8 on the Slim Jim. You want to buy a beer from there? Too bad. You're going to spend $10 on a Corona Light. Every single thing was marked probably 50-60% minimum. Everything. And there wasn't even like a huge selection of stuff either. It was just a catastrophic nightmare. And like, oh, well, the pool must have been fun. The pool was filled with children and like the occasional adult. You would walk over here slightly. There was the adult pool, in which nothing happened in the adult pool except mid-range covers of music and adults, TM. There was this little lagoon area that was like on a little sandbar that you could sit around. I sat here under some shade for like an hour and a half, but nothing actually happened. So this is the main, like amenities. All right, this is pretty awful. Okay, I mean, there's got to be more to this place, right? There's got to be more to this place. Well, there was there was Coral Cay, it was called. I went to a place called Duck Key or Hawks Cay. This was the kiddie pool. Yes, there was an entire children's area. It had a fucking pirate ship in it, but it was a lame pirate ship. Wasn't even big. And it had one of the 3 spots to get food. And you had to physically enter the children's area to get the only place that you could get not even reasonably priced food, mind you, just not extortion levels of food. So yeah, imagine me being like, I want a pizza real fast, entering into a place with literal, actual, like tiny children running around, trying to get something, buying a Corona Light for $10 and getting a shitty pizza. Okay, you established that. That is attraction 2 of 2. That was it. There was one restaurant called the Angler and Ale. Angler and Ale was like, oh, here's like $45 for a steak. We went there. It took an hour and a half to get our food. And when I got my burger, because I ordered a burger, my burger was cold. Everyone had a grand old time. My burger and my beer came out to $29. And it was like, wow, that's awful. But of course, my friend, who wants to tip everything, decided to attach effectively a 30% tip on it. So, that's cool. I had to pay a 30% tip on a cold cheeseburger. Neat. The other food place was a place called 61 Prime. This was $70 for a basic entree. So that is where we actually had, that was like our main place, our villa, because we rented a villa, effectively. And our villa wasn't even like, it wasn't like a super huge, but at least had like a pool in the back, which was nice sometimes. But there would be stretches of day where we would sit, like, all of us would be sitting around the living room, like, just fucking around on our phones, because there was nothing else to do. I played Smash Brothers. I played Smash Bros. Ultimate for the first time. I realized $2,000 bribe is a threat, by the way. Good. Played Smash Brothers for the first time. I felt the child predation growing inside of me, unfortunately, while playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. However, it was quickly replaced by a complete feeling of apathy when my friend was like, "Oh hey," and brought out the GameCube controller. Because we had two people who really knew how to play Smash. I did not know. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, let me just... Oh! Dude, this is really fun stretching because I could feel my skin crack. It's great. So I'm like, all right, let's play Smash Bros. Oh, we got a manly co-host. Welcome to I thought that would be most appropriate for the Hotel California experience. Anytime we did like go out and do something, it was like we would go to the city over, which was a half-hour drive, effectively. We went to an aquarium, which was cool. Don't get me wrong, the aquarium was pretty cool. The solids $20. Yeah, here's Solid's $20 bratty toaster. Yeah, so we did that, and it would be funny because you would like go out and it was like, okay, what's here? Diaz. But yes. It's there was one day we went on. Now this is to give you the separation of things that were going on. The aquarium was cool. I got to feed a stingray. Yes, I got to feed a stingray. Stingrays are really cool. They're really neat creatures. I got to see a shark get fed. I got to see little baby gators. I saw a tortoise. It was really cool. It was a really cool time. We went to a dolphin place, and it was $35 fucking to watch a. It was $35 to watch two dolphins flop about for about 5 minutes. And watching those is like, wow, this is cool. Can we go see the sea lions? No? Okay. Because they were building a new enclosure for the sea lions. And it was like, alright, neat. This is fine. This is fine. Then we went on a trail. We went on a trail one day. Now, mind you, I want you to give... I was told, let's go on a trail. And that trail... The trail that they were talking about looked like this. It was like a little paved pathway through some nice woods. Cool. I'm a functional person with 2 legs. Amazingly, my feet weren't completely broken yet. And now my 2 friends, my one friend, let's call him Jay, and his girlfriend, we will call Ed. Now, mind you, his girlfriend is 7 months pregnant. He is a completely fit individual. Now, to give you an idea, here I am. I, the hero, the incredible tank of a man. The incredible tank of a man, and a little wiry stick man, who we will call C, and a fat Norwegian guy I don't like, which we will call S. I don't like Norwegian people, by the way. Now, here's the thing. They were like, oh, hey, let's go on this trail. And it was like, okay, it was this nice, flat, fun trail. Well, we can't go on the trail. They don't open. So let's go. Let's go, mind you, on a new trail. But there was a secret with this trail. There was a secret. This trail was a winding death maze, effectively. In effectively the middle of the Everglades. That looped on itself, by the way. Which, yes, we did do the entire loop twice. It was a winding death maze. And the ground wasn't even. Because it was pockmarked by coral. So imagine walking along the ground and everything is like this. And it's not like, oh, hey, like if you are wearing decent shoes, watch out for little thing. No, like one bad step and you will fall over and break something. Now, mind you, it's humid as fuck. I am wearing a little bit more than I should because I had burnt myself the previous day. I do not hike. My shoes were not great. I was expecting a nice clean path. So I'm going through this and I'm like, okay, this is awful. This is truly the worst experience ever because I did not look at the trail looking forward because I couldn't look forward. I experienced that entire trail looking down in front of me effectively. Because if I didn't, I would fall and break something. So that was a lot of fun. And I was also the perfect height to get hit by every single branch, every single leaf, every single possible thing that could hit me in the face, and I couldn't see them because I had to look down to not die. And to top it all off, I lost my hairband. So I without my hairband, my hair was forward the entire time. Because I have very long hair. Fun fact. So yeah, it was an entire experience going through that trail. And when we finished, we were like, yay, everything's great and wonderful. We had so much fun. And then we went to the store, and I quickly realized they bought like $230 of groceries the previous day. And I was like, okay, like maybe this store, Winn-Dixie, is just expensive. They literally gracefully ignored every single sale, pretty much. And we were going to split the cost on that. Every single sale, effectively, they skipped. It was great. I was having, yeah, it was a great and exciting experience for everyone involved. Everyone had a lot of fun, and wealthy people, hate them. It's not even like wealthy people. It was like, how do I want to word it? Let's just spend shit on seemingly random things. Because it wasn't like one box of family-size cereal. No. They bought 4 different cereals in their regular box for like $6.50 a pop. And none of us could eat it, really. Because you would have to wake up super early in the morning, and someone would eat all the fucking eggs in the morning and have their own little fucking bacon because a Norwegian fuck thought he was a cook even though he fucked up an entire thing of pancakes. Sorry, I just got here. I could probably listen to stream. What's poppin', peeps? I'm literally just ranting at this point about this fucking week-long trip I was on. This entire trip was just it was an experience of realizing that I really don't want to travel with people again. And when pretty much like the second night you're there, you have to drop effectively $450 to buy everyone's meal because people bought like $80 steaks and shit that first night. You know, you feel really great. You feel amazing as the seething hatred burns in your body for just existing. And it's like, awesome. This is amazing. I love all of this. And then I remained drunk for most of the time, and when I wasn't drinking... but mind you, I couldn't have any of the hard liquor because they literally went through an entire bottle of fucking vodka. And the only drink I had to work with was goddamn Modelo's. Because none of them drink beer. Literally, the beers I had were shitty Modelo's that only me and the Norwegian drank because nobody liked beer. A bunch of effectively off-brand White Claws. And Twisted Tea. That's all. And the Modelo wasn't even on fucking sale. They bought it at full price. And it was like, awesome. This is agony. Yeah, when I got told, like, one of the last nights, being like, why aren't you drinking all the Modelo, man? Like, none of us drink beer. It's only you and the Norwegian guy. Hey, Notepad, why aren't you drinking this beer? And I'm like, what? Why'd you buy that much beer if no one's going to drink it? Well, we drank all the other stuff we liked. What the fuck are you on about? My God. And it was funny too because it's just like, oh yeah, I usually like blonde ales and, you know, lagers and stuff like that. You know, I usually like darker beer. They're like, oh, I don't like beer. I just hate the taste of it. I'm like, okay, I was trying to have a conversation, but neat. All right, fuck it, I'm done. Like, stout superiority. Yeah, a good stout goes a long way. They didn't really have any strong stouts down there, and I'm not too surprised. Had a couple little local beers that were pretty decent. A lot of blondes. A lot of blonde ales down there. Those were pretty decent. I'm usually not a blonde guy, except when it comes to anime women. Yeah. Always remember this, everyone. It's blonde anime girls are my weakness, but let's get back to doing something I actually like doing, which is developing games. So, modified engagement system. Basic idea is that we're going to have a few different positions you can be in, or TCMO. Effectively, you have engagement range, which is effectively melee range. You can attack people, they are attacking you, let's fist fight. You have shooting range. Which is ranged attacks. Cool. They cannot retaliate. Effectively, you are shooting at them, they are not in melee with you. They are within sight. You can see them. You might have a rune that you can do that work with, you might not, doesn't matter. Have horizon, which is you can't see them, which is non-seeing. Seeing, and then finally retreat, which is far, far away. Now, the big idea is that regardless of where you are, these are not locations necessarily. That's not the point of this. The point of this is just to indicate where you are. The fight may be taking place over a wide area. The fight itself may be taking place over a fairly large area. However, it doesn't matter what the area is necessarily. All that matters are, hey, we're clashing here while this person's over here blasting us, while this person's trying to run away, and this person is trying to get a good read on someone else. It doesn't matter where anything is. It just matters that where you roughly are. It's effectively an action map, the modified action map, but people are posting lane. This is not a good sign. It is never a good sign when people post lane. So, this is where things start getting a little bit weird, which is going to be the idea of knockback. Every attack pretty much attacks knockback. Most basic idea physically possible. You do 10 damage, you do 10 up damage, it's knockback 1. You do 20 plus damage, knockback 2. So on and so forth. If you do 30 damage, let's say we're fighting each other, sword mano a mano, we're both engaging with one another. Cling, 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 cling. I hit you really fucking hard. I do 30 fucking damage to you. You are going to get flung backwards, effectively to sight range. You are flying through the air, you aerial correct, you stop there, that's where you are now. Cool. What does that mean? It effectively means we're going back and forth with one another, trying to get ourselves into where we need to go. Hey, I'm using a rune that does a shit ton of damage. Doing a shit ton of damage to someone means you're gonna try to knock them away as far as you can. What I was trying to do here is prevent people from stun locking effectively. I don't want people to stun lock anyone else, if that makes sense. That's one thing I was kind of worried about, is like, oh, I'm just going to dump a bunch of actions and just kill this person right away. Because they're just going to hit. You get hit once really badly, you're going to get knocked away. Those people can't really follow up that easily and just combo somebody to death. Because, hey, you do 20 damage to someone, they're now far enough away that that's something, you can't just... Alpha striking doesn't work as well now. It also gives you a sense of movement. It gives things a sense of you're getting pushed back and you're moving around, and you can also get a moment where you can actually recover yourself. It's that aerial recovery. You're now you're a distance away from everybody. You're getting an idea of what to do. Hey, it's your go, though. Okay, hey, I've got a rune, fucking, twiddly binks, 15 seals open, and then you use, karate chop, ball explosion jutsu, or whatever the fuck. You use a rune, you blow up their penis. Boom, we're moving around, we're doing things. Generally speaking, I would say knockback 1 is going to be the most common. Knockback 1 and 2 are going to be common. Anytime you get over 30 damage, that is lethal in most situations. So that is kind of the bigger things there. This also leads to a larger idea of, I guess, the concept of battle space. In Fortissimo, there is eye space. There's eye space and robotics nodes. These are, I guess, what you can call them, place between places. These are effectively pocket arenas that you clap your hands, domain expansion, we are now in my robotics nodes. In lore, the reason is, hey, we don't want to literally destroy cities with a single fight. Nobody benefits from this. Or like, hey, we want to isolate our enemies on our home ground, therefore, ding, 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 eye space. So it's like, all right, good idea. This works. This is functional. This is an ideal that we have here. Now, if you are outside of a place between places, we're going to have to add collateral damage. Any piece of damage anyone does is building collateral damage. Hey, you do 30 damage, you do 3 collateral damage. Oh, you do 40, you do 20 damage, you do 2 pieces of collateral damage. Oh yeah, they blocked it perfectly. You still do that collateral damage because you're slashing your heavenly death sword down on the ground. And yeah, so what if they, blinked between alternate dimensions to, dodge your attack? Doesn't matter, you have fucked up. You've completely fucked up this area, though. And the battle is changing. Because now you're not necessarily moving, oh, we're just moving on this blank space. It's you're moving between destroyed terrain, things are going wrong. This is, though, one thing that I kept debating on and I didn't know how to do it right, which is effectively Ryutama. A Ryutama item. Or objects, I should say. In Ryutama, there is the concept of objects. Both sides get 5 objects that they can just say, this is a thing currently on the field, give me an advantage. I'm going to kneel behind the wall to balance my crossbow to shoot. I'm going to throw a rock at someone on the ground. I am going to do something with the area we are presented with. How's the trip, Noti? A colossal failure on every single front, and I feel nothing but misery because of it. Generally speaking, though, the idea of objects is to give a... Because that, how do I want to word this? At the end of the day, Ryutama's battle map is nothing sophisticated. This is Ryutama's battle map. This is all you really have to work with. Front, back, that's all. The thing is, these objects suddenly give a lot more flavor. Give a lot more flavor to the battle. It's covered now. There's something I can jump off of. There's a pan I can throw at someone. There is a thing that helps me aim better. There's something to do something. If that makes sense. What I was thinking about doing is adding in a version of these objects. I don't know how to do it yet. But one of the advantages is iSpace. iSpace, there are no objects. Nobody gets any objects. But iSpace is also effectively a place between places that doesn't really exist. Good news, there are no objects for people to fuck around with. Bad news, there's no objects for you to fuck around with. Robotics notes. Whoever owns that place defines the objects within. Hey, I'm playing a person with a gun. Hey, domain expansion, enter my cock and ball torture chamber. I do this. Hey, wait a second. I now can define what objects are in the field and what's helping me. There's no cover in the field. There's no cover. This is my perfect zone. You cannot protect yourself as easily here, but I can do things to increase my rank. I have height advantage on you. I have this. I have this. You suddenly have a very large advantage over these people. You suddenly have that. While, kind of like real space has, it's kind of like defined objects, kind of like first come, first serves based on the situation. I don't know how to do this perfect. I know what I want, I know how to do it, it's just how do we make it function better? And side note, the fact that local mats need to be redrawn every time Hiroshima and Madara fight was one of the most base things Naruto's world building. I fight outside of iSpace. Everyone disliked that. I'll need to do some research on iSpace, honestly, to get the right idea behind it. Because iSpace we see in Fortissimo is weird because it's entirely because of Jin and Odin. That is why iSpace exists as well as it does. But with this one, technically, Ichigo is invented ice space. So I'm like, is there something we can work with here? Is there something we can work with here? Because obviously, people know how to do ice space. So it's like, This also is kind of one of those weird also disadvantages with Magus. Where, yeah, Magus don't have anything. I might literally say magicians can choose to enter ice space. Volspa people have to trigger their full action, trigger their robotics note to draw them into their space. Magus get fucked. They are not at an advantage. They have no inherent advantages when it comes to actually kind of defining their battle space. Good news, they have no inherent advantages or disadvantages, which is the kind of which is kind of the thing. Is, hey, I'm adaptable. I have to assume I'm going to enter your robotics notes. I need to work around that. I need to learn about you. You need to learn about me. I can pull out some tricks that you don't know about. Just as much as I can, I know all your tricks. I can do something to try to counter it. It's kind of that constant back and forth. I'm like, okay, that's not a terrible idea. We can make this work. I think I also have all the actions set up. Let me write out my idea. Accuracy is still a little odd. Similar to, like, I still like the kind of the how do I want to work? You could say kind of my issue points as of right now are redirection. Don't know how to do redirection yet. I literally agonized over it the entire time, and I had nothing to work with. But one of the ideas is there's 3 types of actions: side, quick, and main. So if you want to do a side action, move 1, little action, buy reaction. Because yeah, I talked to a few people about it. It seems like probably the best idea is that you're going to be able to buy reactions. Everyone gets 1 by default. You get attacked by multiple people. You are burning actions to effectively react to them later on. First person, second person, third person, end of the eye. If you burn all your actions right away, you're going to get jumped. On the other hand, you burn all your actions right away, they are probably panicking. Like, uh-oh, they're doing something. The thing is, side actions don't have a lot to do. This is fine. They are a way for you to buy a reaction or shuffle forward a little bit. Hey, I got knocked back a little. I can use a side action and still use my quick and main action. Quick would be pretty much sudden strike, which would be like a quick attack. Nothing too extreme. Move 2, you can use a rune, or prepare. What does prepare do? Gives you free, pretty much plus 1d10 on any of your actions. Think ahead. Hey. But you can also buy a reaction. Then we go to our main action, which we can do a attack, move 3, remove conditions, or use a rune. Or, of course, buy a reaction. So kind of the idea behind combat is like there's not many things you can do necessarily, but that's not the point. The point isn't that you're supposed to do a lot with each of the actions. It's more like, okay, what can I do with my options? What am I going to do? Do I just just wail on them and hope for the best? Do I want to use runes? Am I using my reactions correctly? Where do I use my reactions? Because ultimately, like, reaction-wise, I have dodge, which is pretty much just going to be X versus Y, to avoid damage. My dodge check versus your aim, I beat your aim with my dodge, you do 0 damage. or you do half damage, which that was kind of like it's kind of my thing. It's just like, dodge is kind of like always safe to dodge. When in doubt, just dodge. You might take half damage. That doesn't seem like a lot, but could save your ass. But you can also guard, which is just flat damage reduction. You might have really, really insane guard value. No matter what you do, no matter how it works, you always reduce damage by your guard. If you have a really good guard value, don't really worry about dodging, just reduce the damage to 0. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Parrying, which was going to be a weaponry versus weaponry check. How's your vacation? Catastrophic failure. Which is... The idea behind parrying, I think parrying could work, which is the idea of, I am making an attack against you. I am a fighter, I'm going to attack you. We both make a weaponry check. Effectively melee weapons check, melee check, and whoever wins gets to do all their damage. That's it. You are both making an attack at one another to block one another. If you're a really good fighter and you know you're a good fighter, then parry. Just parry. On the other hand, if you are a guy with a gun, you can still attempt to parry. You just have to use something you probably aren't very good at. And it's like, okay, you've parried with your gun, and now you're going to do not a lot of damage. It's not useful for someone with a ranged weapon or a non-weapon weapon, necessarily, to parry as much, because, well, that's not going to do you anything. Parrying gets a lot more valuable if you are an accomplished fighter with the right kind of weapon available. On the other hand, if you're fighting, say, a Magus, and he attacks you and you just want to do a little damage to them, do it and stab them with a knife you have. I'm going to parry with my rifle with a bayonet. Effectively, a rifle with a bayonet would be a switch weapon. That's all. You would have a switch weapon. You go dink, dink, and you would stab them with the bayonet. Boom. Or you can use a rune. Now, most defense runes are flat reduction in damage. Flat damage reduction, but there's a few more toys that go along with each of them. We go up to... If we go up to some of the defense runes, kind of with the ward, you can do a lot of these and get a bunch of different ways of doing things. Hey, what's your ability with it? Hey, I have weapon, I'm going to use, another skill to do it, and I can do really well. Where's the actual range? What's the actual range on this? There's a couple things you can work with here, and I'm okay with that. I am perfectly fine with defining some of these things. It gets a little bit hectic, but I'm relatively certain it should work. Question mark. But yeah, that's kind of my schizo notes on the Fortissimo battle system. I think damage is going to be pretty fucking big. Indirectly, it's going to be a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Because normally in Double Cross, in good old Double Cross, effectively what happens is you roll your accuracy, and your accuracy directly converts into quote bonus damage. They could just not resist, and you say, okay, so let's say I roll a 20 on my accuracy, they don't choose to resist, you divide that by 10, and that's the effectively additional d10s you end up getting to your damage. what I was thinking about doing is changing that to a 5 instead. So instead, this would be plus 4d10. If we change it down, every attack suddenly gets way bigger, but defense becomes a lot more important. You know, bigger numbers, bigger everything, but we also have a lot more health to compensate them. The right kind of character can really have a shit ton of health. That's why I'm kind of like going back and forth with it, because you get something like the Icon Maiden here from Volspa, Laura Veith. Laura has an integrated chest weapon, effectively an integrated chest relic. What does that mean, integrated chest relic? That means she has a 40 additional health. 40 additional health. She blocks 8 damage by default. If she guards, she gets a plus 4 on it. Yeah, she gets a lot of health to work with here. But she doesn't really, she needs to use a rune to actually damage them. So, there we go. We have an interesting dynamic to kind of work with there. We have an issue, we have a problem, we have effectively, she's got like 80 health. So it's like, oh, well, you know, you do like 60-10 damage. 60-10 damage doesn't feel like a lot when you're reducing it down by like, oh, I'm going to reduce it down by like 12 or 15, possibly. Even more if I dodge or do the right parrying attack. I'm not entirely confident in this yet. Right now, the one thing one of those weird sticking points. One of those weird sticking points is health disparity, because it's very easy to create a character with very little health and very little health and a lot of health. And I'm worried that the damage is going to focus on killing the characters with really high health. In exchange, we just nuke anyone below a certain value, which isn't quite what I want, but I'm like, okay, that might occur. That's going to be a lot of tweaking on that front, so we need a couple different ways of doing that. On the other hand, if I tweak damage down too much, then suddenly, if you get any amount of health, you just are able to just fight till the end. That's one of those reasons why we need to focus on, somehow, on the idea of redirection. One of the ideas was with damage redirection was that magicians can only redirect it to their magic weapon. Miracle users can redirect it to either. On the other end, while Magus can redirect it to just themselves. So it's kind of like, hey, you're taking damage, where do you want to actually take that damage? No, I don't. There's a lot of things to do there, and I don't know how to do it perfectly. That's kind of the issue I'm having with that idea, because generally speaking, Fortissimo does not handle that very well. Just in the narrative, it doesn't handle it well, because the issue is I get attacked. Oh no, X occurs. And hey, I kill someone. Like, every time someone dies, it's because, oh hey, I have attacked you with a weapon. I have attacked you with my weapon, and I have like blown your chest off or something. And yeah, like, I destroy your magic weapon in addition to you. So it's like you sometimes get like directly targeting the magic weapon. Other times you don't get directly targeting the magic weapon. And there's a couple fail states there that are just really goopy and really difficult to just sit down and just say, this is exactly how it's done. Hello, phone. What's poppin'? No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to FaceTime my mom. That seems like a bad idea if I FaceTime my mom. My mother sends me Instagram videos randomly. Yeah, so these are kind of the two sticking points with the combat. It's getting this to work properly is going to be a oof moment, but can I? Maybe? I don't know yet. But yeah, that's kind of my notes there. Felt pretty decent. On the other hand, okay. Ah, God. Throat's killing me. So, next thing I did some work on. Ring Dream. Yes, technically Ring Dream 2. 4th edition. So, for those who don't know, I have a commission. Someone has proposed to me to adapt a game called Ring Dream. Ring Dream is a TTRPG from yesteryear out of GURPS. It is a GURPS role-playing game released in 1990. I believe it was 1994, but there was also another version before that. Yeah, because Japan really liked GURPS, and I got a little bit fucked up. I got a little bit fucked up to begin with because there really wasn't that much. Because what happened, like a weird thing in Japan, in Japanese RPGs, is that they really liked GURPS. There was a handful of one. You see Damn Stalkers, Runal Saga. After 3rd edition, it ended. Like early 2000s, no more GURPS games out of Japan. None. They kind of just went away and just, I wouldn't say died, just stopped existing, really. You know, even if you look at like Zero Day or whatever, you know, the Magius RPG and Ring Dream. We have talked about this man before because he actually worked on the Magius. He worked on the Magius Evangelion book, and all of the issues that go into working with Magius. But yeah, his big thing is Ring Dream. Was GURPS Ring Dream here? Here's what I can do. If I do a Japanese import, can I paperback bunko? I can buy the $39 version of this game to the check. I can buy a $39 version of this. Is there any other, yeah, for paperback bunko? It will be a it will effectively be a multi-week endeavor, costing me about $40-50 to get from point A to point B, but I would be able to get the game. But oh, the Fortissimo saga is over? No, Fortissimo is not over. This is kind of a mid-point at this point. This is kind of a non-session, non-stream. We're not really working on anything too hardcore. Just kind of going over the notes, what I did. Because what we're doing is converting a Japanese RPG based off of GURPS 3rd edition, like early 3rd, maybe even earlier, maybe even possibly even earlier than that. It might be second edition. I actually kept kind of going around trying to find like a really like concise like understanding of it, but I couldn't find anything. So effectively, we're doing Ring Dream 2 GURPS 4th edition. This does mean we will inadvertently be making a powered by GURPS game. No, we're going to be using GURPS 4th. That's the idea. We're going to be using GURPS 4th edition, probably the basic set, and this is where things start getting a little bit odd. So let me see if I can get my notes set up. So notes right here. What we will be probably needing to reference is what I was thinking about anyway. This is my idea, is that we have a base character. We should just say a character. We can actually, we can even call it like an actor, kind of like the actor and the persona. The actor is the actual person. I was thinking about making them like a 60 point, like 60, like a 60 negative, like 30, maybe. It's not perfect, but bear with me. This is a regular human being, effectively. They are the actor. They are the actual man behind the mask. Well, woman behind the mask, because we're dealing with Japanese women's professional wrestling. Which is very in-depth, by the way. Do not get me wrong, we will have to do research. And then we do, like, the act, if that makes sense. The actual person, which I was debating on starting at 200. Like 200 and like 60, like for like 60 maybe. I would have to double check to get my exact numbers correct. And with a cap at 450. The idea being that you build these up together. So you would effectively be the actor plus persona, coming out to a total of 260 points. However, you may be thinking, what does this actually mean? The Undertaker, my idea is this. The Undertaker is an immortal creature who physically is so strong that no one can fight him reliably. The guy who plays the Undertaker is not. That's kind of the idea, is like the persona you are putting forward is very different from the person underneath it. And playing off that could be interesting as a... Didn't the Undertaker lose once? Yeah, he lost because that person was literally like a fucking superhero. That was kind of the idea, is like... Some dude went off script. Yeah, and that was kind of the idea. You play it off that a little bit. It is the idea of the script and the idea of you have the act, you have the persona. The persona may be way stronger than you. They're not actually stronger than you, though, but that's what the act is. This is the act of you are easily able to lift up this person above your head and power slam them to the ground. Well, technically, you are, you can physically do that. It's just kind of taxing. But in a show, it seems a little bit more interesting. It's kind of the idea of like, you're playing out what people are seeing kind of thing, what people are being led to believe. You're playing the show. So, of course, the actual act, the persona, is going to be a lot stronger and have a lot more things. You could be really good friends with somebody as an actor. You're good friends with this person. You go drinking together. They show up a lot. They're helpful to you. They're rooting for you. But your persona and them are arch rivals. We're arc, like, I hate you, I'm gonna beat you up, yeah, I hate you too, power slam and all that shit. That's the idea, is your persona and the actor are kind of different from one another, but that's okay. Now, this is where things start getting a little bit more esoteric-y, is what I was thinking about adding in. We have our face heal system, which face heal shouldn't be too complicated. These would just be These would just be modified reputations. Are you acting like a face? Are you acting like a heel? Heels cannot be good people. Faces cannot be bad people. Being a face means that you are going to get a bonus. You're going to get a +1, +2. You know, you're going to get a few bonuses by acting like a good person, doing what you're supposed to do. The heel, on the other hand, is you're going to be getting bonuses for acting like a bad person, intimidating people, doing things. And this is going to be constantly kind of going back and forth depending on what you do, just as much as what the script's kind of entailing. And that could be an interesting set of encounters, you could say, which is, hey, you are desperately, you are such a face. You are a face. People like you, people like talking with you, you are a very personable person. The actual people behind the scenes are trying to make you more of a heel. They want you to be eviler because that's what's going to hype you up a lot more. So you're going to have like this horribly awkward transitionary period where you're going from good guy to bad guy. And that could be a goal. That could be a goal that players have to encounter. Hey, how do I act more evil in this situation? How do I work with people to be the bad guy in this situation? Boom, done. Easy enough to work about. It's one of the other ideas is the idea of battle goals rather than like just pure win states. It's not about just doing as much damage as you physically can, because one thing we have to remember is we're going to be using GURPS. We're going to be using a lot of GURPS martial arts. Most likely with, probably with a little bit of technical grappling. We're going to be using a lot more hello, person outside. A lot of cinematic techniques. Probably some Chunbara rules as well to kind of give people that little bit of that action movie sense, and a lot of TV action violence. A lot of being able to redirect damage where you don't actually take any damage. The idea, though, the concept of battle goals and win states is, achieving goals. You need to perform this special move at least once. Hey, you need to pin them for this amount of time. Hey, you need to make sure they win. You need to make sure your enemy actually wins. However, it's like, hey, you need to do this. There's a lot more goals at stake than just beat up the enemy. You can still beat up the enemy. However, there are things you need to accomplish. Which one of the things there was going to be effectively like, I wouldn't say promotion, but like ape, I guess you might even call it. Performing special techniques are your techniques and stuff and combat maneuvers are going to build hype for you. Your enemy, pinning your enemy to the ground is going to build hype. Winning the match is going to win hype. Someone coming in with the steel chair is going to build hype. The more hype you build, the better the show is. However, if you take too long and it goes on forever, hype's going to start dying. So you got to get that balanced section. You win the fight too quickly. Oh, wow. You go down and no one wants to. Well, this is boring. We came for a fun fight. It was over in 10 seconds and then we left. Oh, that's not good. This is bad. So that's kind of the idea of like you building up hype, but it's also like shared but mutual. So it's kind of like the idea, let's say we have, Fighter Rose and Fighter, Fire Peony. So effectively, Rose might build hype, might add like 20 hype. Peony may have build 18 hype. Together, they have built 38 hype for the match. The entire, the match itself is at 38. However, Rose is coming out on top. You might lose the fight. They might pin you and tap 1, 2, 3, you're out. But you did better. You built more hype. People, you came out of that being better. Because sometimes losing is what you want to have happen. Hey, you're the underdog and you're fighting someone impossibly strong. And you're gonna get your ass kicked probably. The idea is, how long can you last? How can you showboat? How can you fight till the bitter end? Because people are gonna be like, hell yeah, this person, you gave a good fight. And you fought like hell, and people liked this. You've built up hype. You've built fans. You've built things that people are excited to see you again. You may have lost, but that's not the point. The point is, you lost, but you lost in style. On the other hand, you know, winning is, you may win, but not build as much hype. Yeah, congratulations, you won, but people aren't cheering your name as much as sad that they lost. They aren't happy you won. And that could be, again, it's a dynamic thing, you go back and forth. The best fighters are not going to be the ones that can immediately kill people in with 2 seconds to spare. It is the people who are showboating and know when to win and know how to win. And that was kind of my ideas with it. Had any more notes here? No, I didn't have any notes. Cool. I think this should work. I'm going to have to do a lot more research into GURPS, like martial arts and stuff, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna read a GURPS book effectively on the plane, and I did. I read a full GURPS book repeatedly, trying to get a Wow. I read the, now if you want to see, GURPS Hellboy. Yes, I read the GURPS Hellboy game. This is the book I decided to read on the plane, and I didn't realize until much, much later. Oh hey, surprised. Surprise everyone. It's 3rd edition GURPS. I'm like, awesome. Perfect. It's goddamn. It's goddamn fucking 3rd edition GURPS. It came out in like 2002, which is really weird to think about as well. If you think about it, like GURPS is fucking old. There's a lot of content for 3rd, but not a lot for 4th. Well, there's a lot of content for 4th, but it seems a lot more like. When it comes to RPG, why do most things break down to camp? GURPS, you have fun with hundreds of different options. Choices are things a whole lot more street. More street for, like, Traveler and Sea. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, Solid. When it comes to, like... When it comes to, like, campy versus, like... I don't really know what you're talking about there, Solid. Owie, owie. Bony. Bonies. Yeah, I've trying to play the game of interpreting some of these results have also been quite if I can find a Ring Dream a GURPS Ring. I've been using this quite a bit as well, because this is GURPS Ring Dream, by the way. This is the full manga as well in GURPS Ring Dream. Because the weird thing is, in Japanese women's pro wrestling, it is actually a pretty large endeavor, and there's a lot that goes into it, and it's a very physical... How do I want to word this? Shit gets real fast in Japanese women's professional wrestling, because of how they are trained and how they actually fight with one another. There's a lot that goes into this. Even down to just basic things like stomping on the motherfucker, or doing a big move, or, you know, flying jump kicking people, which is an actual technique in GURPS, by the way. Like, most of these should be pretty simple to find something for, because a lot of these are just technical. It's technical grappling rule. But it's like, okay, how do we make this flow nicely, if that makes sense? Making this flow nicely is going to be kind of a different endeavor. This is our very, let me see if I can bring up the, now, this is what we can consider to be a pretty basic character. Pretty basic character, as you can see. Like, she's not even, like, super... She's not super tough. She's not very smart, relatively speaking. But I translated some bits of these. Like, these are all fairly normal. All of these are fairly normal. All of these are fairly normal. It's just trying to, okay, we've got this. I want to... They do use the hex system here, and I would probably need to maybe find something else about it, because yes, GURPS uses hexes. What I was thinking about doing even is rewriting how GURPS does field combat, simply because, like, that's not as... How do I want to... It's not as useful for me to do this, because it's like, okay, why are we using hexes for this particular... Back of my... Oh. Yeah, you may be wondering, well, there aren't really many rules because you're supposed to use GURPS fucking Basic Edition. I think you were supposed to use GURPS Basic Edition for this, which was a very common thing back in the day, apparently. It was very common back in the day you would just use GURPS, you know, GURPS Basic Edition or whatever the base book of GURPS was, and just make a supplement book for it. This is one of those cases where she's 450 fucking points. She's fucking cracked. She has a lot of character points to kind of play around with. And yeah, so it's like, okay, how do we... She doesn't really have that many skill points to work with. She has like a couple different things down here. It's like a lot of this. So it's like, okay. She's the main... If I'm correct anyway, she's the main girl you see on the cover a lot. This is his... this is Orange Jelly's main girl. And that's kind of like where I was basing the cap off of. She would be an advanced character, starting off about 200 points, because it does seem points are a little bit higher in this book. A little bit hard, but you also get girls who are like 280 points, and some even less, 205, 250. So it's like, alright. Then you get people who just bring out a fucking knife, and alright, cool. This bitch doesn't even have any CP. She has 205. They just didn't write it up there because they just photocopied the character sheet in. This is the replay that came with it. Yeah. People were commenting like, oh, where are all the rules and stuff? But you don't need rules because all the rules were already in the book. They were already in the main book. And I can guarantee you, if you were to look back, if you were to look at certain sections of this book, somewhere they would probably just say, this is exactly what you need. Even if it was just like on the back cover. I mean, like, yeah, this is the book you need. This is all you want. It's hard to tell though, because it's a very particular game in a very particular place. So it's like, it is interpreting moon runes. Those are basic stats. I know, they are very basic. This looks a lot more violent than normal wrestling. Yeah, to a degree. Because, like, I'm gonna bring this up. I'm going to try to find the right one. You have 1,001 option to make things straightforward. GURPS and 3 Traveler and Call of Cthulhu always break down into 2 camps. Yeah, you can say that with most things. Traveler also has 1,001 options, but we don't talk about that. Like, if we do, Japanese women's pro wrestling, I'm going to try to find something here. Because half this shit is like, if you really Google this on YouTube, it's like, here's this Guro. Like, we just want to watch women get the shit beat out of them. I'm like, oh, okay, that's definitely an option. Yeah, let me see if I can find... Yeah, this is Stardom. I don't know the exact date, but it'll probably be about a year ago. Year and a half ago. Like, yeah, they're... Let me see if I can find, like, the good... fight. Because these are performances, obviously. Like, they are... It's a performance. On the other hand... How do you do that? That is our goal right now. Is performing that entire sequence of maneuvers. That is where things are going to get complicated. That is where things are going to get very difficult. Because this is an immensely technical sport. And the thing is, pro wrestling is that. At the end of the day, pro wrestling is very technical. And it's like, okay, boom, knocking her down. Grab her. Yeah, things looks a little ridiculous, don't get me wrong. You're like, that's silly looking. On the other hand, you have to remember, it's a show. It's a show. These are people, you know, they're... It looks violent. On the other hand, remember... What are we seeing versus what is the show? Obviously, you can kind of tell even by this, they're not throwing their full weight behind things. You know, even there, you can kind of see like where she throws herself. It's like she's getting thrown, but she throws herself, and then you start fighting again. You swing around. It's choreographed. Ring Dream here, what Ring Dream is doing is saying all of this, oh, it looks a lot more violent. They're choreographing this. But in a game, obviously, you don't have to worry about, hey, here's 3 hours of us training to do this. No, you don't have to worry about that because it's a fucking tabletop game. Yeah, of course, I'm gonna fucking throw this person as hard as I physically can and dislocate her arm. That's fine. What I'm trying to ask is, why do RPGs either break down into Ivory Tower or everything else? Understand what the Ivory Tower is. Not quite what that is, but you're trying hard, so I'm giving you credit there. When it comes to a lot of games, here's the ultimate thing. Ivory Tower game design is effectively a game design based around the principle about there are right options and wrong options. Here are 4 options, and I'm gonna present a scenario to everybody. Do my usual little scenario when it comes to how do you explain you know like Ivory Tower game design. Whatever. So here's a proposition. There are 3 abilities. Hello, phone. What's poppin', phone? Do you need something from me? So let's say we have 3 abilities. I have one attack. One attack deals 500 damage. You know, this is ability 1. One attack, deal 500 damage. Ability 2. Two attacks. 300 damage. Ability 3. One attack. 250 damage. 250 damage 3 times. Which one's the better ability? And it's one of those things where if you're paying attention, well, obviously, this one would be the better ability. It's one attack, it does 250 damage 3 times. So it would be 250, 500, 750. This does 750 damage. Ability 2, though, is 2 attacks, does 600 damage at the end. Ability 1 does 500 damage. However, what Ivory Tower does is that it takes this exact same idea and it says Ultima Cock and Ball. It does Ultima attack. Twin Slash. Rapid attack. This is what it does. Because you're looking at this being like, oh, Twin Slash looks really good. Cool, I'm going to take Twin Slash because Twin Slash sounds cool. Well, Ultima attack obviously has to be good because it says Ultima attack and has the biggest number here. Where if you're paying attention, you say, wait, rapid attack does 750 fucking damage. That's the idea of Ivory Tower, is there is a right option among these 3. Rapid attack is the right option. And taking these other 2 are the wrong option. But we're going to put these 2 in to make the person who selected the right option feel better about themselves. Good job, you did it. You took the right choice. You took the right option. You did the right thing. That's Ivory Tower. The idea of the Ivory Tower is academia and things like that. There are people who are good at the game and people who are bad at the game. You are bad at the game if you select Ultima attack. You are good at the game if you select rapid attack. There are games with a shit ton of choices can devolve into this. It's very easy. Counterpoint, DR. Exactly. But again, without defining DR, that's where things start getting a little bit hectic. Because this is a very basic example. If there is 1,000 other things to consider, right options and wrong options suddenly become a lot more obfuscated. Because the idea is, oh hey, damage reduction. You know, it's like, oh hey, there's damage reduction. There's 10 damage reductions, the maximum you can get. Yeah, I'm blocking 30 damage. I'm blocking 20 damage. I'm blocking 10 damage, and this is still going to be astronomically more. You just kind of see the idea. This is where Ivory Tower design gets really fucky, and why a lot of those things like 3.5 got so convoluted and so difficult for some people, is because there are 1,000 things to consider, and well, if I select X, Y, and Z, I get to do ABC, but if I do XZD, suddenly I get to do a completely different set of abilities because of all these different interacting factors. And I've learned to beat the game. That's how you got build culture effectively in 3.5. Oh god. And all build culture was how do we create the optimal build? What's the correct build? I want to make a fighter. What's the right build? I want to make a wizard. What's the right build? And you see that, of course, these days. Like, there's right ways to make Lancer mechs. There's wrong ways to make Lancer mechs. And it's the same idea. And it's... people like builds. And I don't much care for them because I think it takes away a lot of player agency. When you find the optimal build, it's why bother being creative and just net deck? That's like kind of the thing, like, it's like, yeah, you're just net decking. Like, oh wow, you're super good at the game, you net decked and You learned effectively how to win every encounter now. Are you having fun? Like, all right. If you give me a few minutes, I gotta do some stuff, but I will be back, and we will continue debating things. If any of you know GURPS, feel free to leave comments or support or fucking anything that I can consult to do this better. Give me one moment. Yeah. Ugh. Ooh. Ooh. Did I mention? Oh God, right there. Yes, my mother is the type of person who asks, "Hey, can you help me? Hey, Notepad, can you help me throw out the trash?" And then has me do like 6 other things. But yes. Veil builds issue by having all the fancy stuff be things you have to find and learn in game, explosions and powerful spell. It's usually when you see builds pop up when games have a lot of options, a lot of toys, and you have people clearly knowing it. Does that make sense? Because you can plan out a Lancer mech. Oh God. My feet are all fucked up right now. There's itching. I've been itching them a lot. Now they're all fucked up. Oh yeah. It's so it's like the thing with the builds. Here's the scary truth of builds. Builds are not inherently bad. Builds are not inherently bad. Builds that define everything are bad. It's kind of like one of those things like, oh well, I'm going to build like, oh well, I'm playing a pyromancer, so I'm going to take a bunch of fire spells. And I'm going to take a bunch of abilities that reflect that. I'm like, cool, that's fine. That's not an inherently bad idea. Though that is not inherently bad. It's, I'm going to play this specific character with these 10 abilities, because if I rotate ability 1, 2, and 3, I can immediately combo into 4, 5, 6, and then use 7, 8, 9, and 10 to close out every fight. It's things like that, because then you're just trying to build a solved game. And advancement is no longer, oh boy, new things. It's, oh boy, it's another thing on my list of, things to check off. And like, even you mentioned in Veil Riders, like, oh, well, you have to be fancy stuff you have to find and learn in game. You can stop builds somewhat with that. But one of the ideas, though, is builds are always things you have immediately at your disposal. It's, hey, I have like my idea for this build is XYZ, take this spell at this point to do this and do this and this and Y. It's like, unless the GM says no, you can't do that, which sucks. That's always the saying no to things is a lot less fun than saying yes to things. Yes, you get explosion. Yes, you get this. A lot less, a lot more fun. A lot more entertaining than, no, you cannot take this ability in the book because I don't want you to do exactly what you're going to do with it. That's where things get a little bit hectic, and that's where things stop being fun and start being like, well, you ruined my build. Why don't you just give me all the magic items I want? I want this, and this magic item to make sure my character works. I'm like, oh no. Cole probably knows that a little bit better than everyone just because he played Pathfinder. He knows Pathfinder quite a bit. So it's like, oh, my character fundamentally does not work unless you give me exactly what I need. Yeah, builds are easy at early levels if you aren't being retarded, unfortunately. Yeah. That's kind of the, builds aren't inherently bad if they're thematic. Because it's just like, oh, I'm just taking things that seem like fun that fits my character. If it starts being like, if I don't do this thing, I'm not going to have fun, that's like, okay, that's bad. And then unfortunately, you also get, then you get the that build. And you can find this in just about any game with, even when builds are considerable. Even when builds are considered or worked into the mechanics as elegantly as a brick, it is that build, which is the optimal, correct, absolute, perfect option. The thing is, if you choose the optimal, correct, absolute, perfect option, you have no reason to pick anything else. So let's say you have 3 options. Option A is the correct option, and the other 2 are wrong. If you see a player take the wrong options, you get annoyed by them. You've chosen the wrong option. And it's one of those things where you notice it in you notice it immediately, especially if you know the game decent enough, and you're like, why the fuck did you choose that? Why in God's name are you deciding, like, oh, I want to be a Titan wrestler champion? I mean, like, why? Why do you want to do this? You are a fucking tank. Why are you taking a bunch of these feats to not improve your health or your AC or anything? You're doing it to wrestle Titans. Well, it's fun. Being like, yeah, that's fun for you, and we're gonna die immediately. You know, because of it. Because of your failures, we are weaker now. And sometimes there are abilities that aren't necessarily bad, and because then you sometimes you can also get things depending on how enemies and stuff are made, which an enemy gets the optimal correct option, and it's like, uh-oh. Yeah, this is my idea for GURPS. I was thinking about bringing in technical grappling, because technical grappling has, see. Yeah, you get things like, okay, control points, position revisited, armed grappling, combat, some more combat options, more techniques. Probably one of the hardest parts about GURPS is like, okay, I want to do GURPS martial arts is the correct option. Cool, I want to do GURPS martial arts. However, it is every single kind of martial art in existence, so it's like, fuck, okay, which one what am I actually needing? What do I actually need? So what I was thinking about doing is going to the actual thing. Going to a GURPS gen. Let's bring up GURPS gen. Bringing up GURPS gen here and just asking exactly what kind of books I need. And even just like the GURPS like even just trying to find like the best way to do the GURPS updates, basic, converting characters over, what attributes are we actually looking like, because the numbers have changed slightly. Especially when you start dealing with like the strength conversion, health conversions. There's a lot of things to consider here, especially just how little notes change. Once a little note changes, you start saying like, okay, like all of these seem correct, but then it's like, okay, well, we changed the numbers here, we changed the numbers here, so it's like, okay, it feels like I need to sit down with Ring Dream and just do it. It doesn't also help. This is another thing that's also not perfect, which arguably I might try to find something on it. I don't know where to even begin looking for it. But literally hunting down the Ring Dream mobile game, effectively, because yeah, you gotta remember Ring Dream was a mobile game. Well, it wasn't a mobile game, it was a browser game. Yeah, it was a browser game, which it's like, okay. And it's like, this definitely isn't it. I was, let me see. Yeah, obviously, it never gets talked about for any remote capacity, because why the fuck would it? Literally, all I could find on the fact that this browser game exists is that it is shutting down. Because, like, oh, it's women's pro wrestling war will be terminated. Like, it's, how do you even find these things? Like, I have no idea. Where do you even start looking for it? I don't know. And it's very frustrating. Honest to God, it's, again, I know who did it. I follow the fucking guy on Twitter. Hello, person. Like, it's, God, where, yeah, I can, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I've unfollowed you like 4 times. Keeps like, oh no, he's back. I'm like, go away. Where the fuck are you, brother? Nope, not incognito. No. Ah, right here. Where's Jelly? This is him. I am 89% sure this is him. The only option I have, original creator of Ring Dream. You know, it's like he even says, you know, original creator of Ring Dream. I was thinking about actually like reaching out to him, being like, hey, do you have an option? Like, do you have a do you have any input for a wayward traveler such as I? Just because of like, how do you approach this? Because obviously it's there, and of course we all know him for his extensive Toho women's professional wrestling artistry, as we know, as you know, as it is known. Is it always? Why is it so extensive? Never not. It will never not be funny. That is as extensive as it is. Ring. Because yeah, it's talking about it, trying to find exactly what I'm looking for is getting a little bit hectic, just because of yeah, everything comes back to being a Toho reference. Yes, this is the actual creator just reaching out to him, being like, hey, someone wants me to make Ring Dream 40. Fuck, man, how do I even approach this? Like, but it's just like, how do you approach this kind of conversation? And it's like, you don't. How do you approach this conversation? Hello, I am being paid to rewrite your game from 1993 into GURPS 4th edition. Like, how do I do? Like, yeah, that's the That's where things start getting very, very complicated. Yeah, so you understand why this entire endeavor is such a beautiful shit show of just learning about how do these things function. And it's not even like he even keeps bringing it up of just Japanese women's professional wrestling because it is actually a fairly important thing to him. But yeah, that is that's my ring dream. Outside of that, I said I was going to. I said I was going to do it. I was going to do this. So I'm going to do it now because when you're alone on a plane, you end up writing Disco Elysium Nightmare. So effectively, this is a bullshit way of doing the Disco Elysium. Originally, this was my idea, but I just want to kind of give you all a very basic idea of basic conceptual, basic idea of the DERP. Originally, it's going to be 2d6 plus X, 2d6 plus mods at its absolute core if you want to keep things really easy and really simple. However, all of you are going to have your basic stats. All our stats there. Pretty much our basic stats if we just use things from the game. Intellect, psych, physique, and now we would probably need to add another one, but I just want to use this as a basic idea. The big idea here is we're ultimately defining oneself. That is the ultimate theme of Disco Elysium. Define oneself. How do you define yourself? Every single character, every single character you encounter in Disco Elysium is a character trying their best to find themselves. Kuno, to Kim, to Harry, all of them are trying to find themselves in some capacity, or if they have found themselves, it's trying to find their place in the world. That's kind of the idea. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you the way that you are? Now, this is where things start getting a little bit odd, is that you can tie a number to each of these. Let's say you have like let's say, for example, you have a plus 4, +2, +0, -2. This is your stat spread. Everything you do, this is your stat spread. This is how important it is to yourself. So normally what you would think of this, like, okay, my intellect would be +4, my psych would be +2, my physique is 0. My physique is 0, and my motorics is -2. Okay, that's easy enough to understand. This is not what we're actually working. What the ideal would be is that you would associate each of these with a nature of who you are. You would define what's your intellect, what's your psych like, what's your physique like, what's your motorics like. This is going to be one of the harder parts about a game like this. Effectively, if we are making let's say we're making a mob character, and we want to make a guy who is in the mob, we might do Sly Huckster. We would be a Sly Huckster at +4. Anytime that comes up, we get +4. We're a smart guy, but we're smart guy because we are a fucking huckster. We're not. That's just how we do things. We gaslight people. We're very smart at trying to get the best deal out of things. This is who we are. That's at a +4. If we were going outside of our intellectual sphere, it would go down to a +2. Or it might go down to a 0 even. Kind of the idea. You're taking a penalty the further away you're deviating from who you are. Now, the idea here was to be that everyone else is defining your different aspects of who you actually are. So, what's your psych like? Someone might say, well, you're a smooth operator. You're one of those too cool for school guys. That's how you think. That's how you operate. You are too cool for this. You are a cool guy who does cool things for cool reasons. This is how you think. This is how you operate. This is how you deal with people. You know, someone else may say, well, you're beanstalk thin. You're a super thin guy. You're tall and you're thin. Everyone can kind of see you coming because you're just that tall, thin guy. Everything you wear is a little baggier than it should be. And that's just who you are. That's something that you gotta define. The character does not get to define that very much. On the other hand, you're a little jittery. On the other hand, your Motorix is half awake in dreamland. You're not. You take things at your own pace. You're a very slow guy. You don't take too long to do things. This is this idea. You just defined one aspect of yourself. The other players would be defining your psych, physique, or your Motorix. Or whatever. I would probably end up adding a fifth one. They are defining you just as much as you're defining you. These could be good, these could be bad. Doesn't matter what it is. But you still are going to be assigning these numbers. Well, this is where things get a little bit weird, which is going to be skills. Skills, which are going to be written in, which would be written in / given out / adopted. All of these skills are just aspects of yourself, obviously. So, intellect, if I'm a sly huckster, I could be something on the idea of... crime always pays. That's just an aspect of, that's a skill I have. Crime always pays. What does that mean? That is a skill I have. Anytime I'm doing crime, doesn't matter how crime I'm talking about, just I'm doing crime, I'm going to get a bonus to it. I'm trying to do something lawful, that's going to be a problem for me. I don't do that. Gotta think, crime pays, crime always pays. You get multiple of these skills. And each of these skills is going to, further and further influence your nature. Because these are your actual, what we would consider, your skills talking to you. I would even have to say, like, hey, are you touched by the fog? There's a term for it, but I can't remember the exact term for it. It's the idea that, hey, you are actually connected with your skills or in some way, and they communicate to you. But here's the problem. Each of them do have your best interest in mind, but they want you to do it their way. Dreamland there wants you to take things easy. Take things in the simplest way possible. Don't think about things too hard. Just do it, man. Come on, just do it, man. Beanstalk there, though. Beanstalk, he's a little weird. He doesn't want you to get hurt. He doesn't want to get hurt. And he's going to say, don't get into anything dangerous. Anytime you get into danger, I don't like it. And I'm going to get you out of it, because fuck that. You shouldn't be in danger. You should never be in danger. Smooth operator, however, well, what does he think? Well, he thinks that just go with the flow. That brings you right in the heart of danger. You're already good. Pretend you know what's going on. No one's gonna fuck with you because you're a smooth operator. On the other hand, being smart is got a deal. Have that guy shoot that guy. You already won. All of them are going to approach the situation Like, let's see. What would you keep a Disco Elysium the setting as well, or would you violently smash a system into another setting? Probably we could keep it with the. It would keep with the idea of the setting. Revengeful is an interesting place. We don't see that much of it. See, the problem is it's like, oh, it's one of the attributes, try to do stuff. That's the easy option. That's the, oh, just play everyone as John. But here's the distinctive thing. Here's my counterpoint to that. That's Harry. That is a very big idea you have to remember. That is what Harry is going through. Harry is having effectively a complete meltdown of his sense of self. He is really fucked, and he knows that. All of your skills throughout the entirety of Disco Elysium tell you repeatedly that you are fucked. That's not how that's supposed to go. That you are not in a good place right now. You are in effectively the worst possible place you could be in. That's Harry's problem. Harry is the investigator. Harry is the problem. Harry is our protagonist. We play Harry, and it's interesting. Here's the thing. Volition is an interesting character. I like Volition. Volition is an interesting character because he's written very well. Volition wants you to think and it wants to protect you. But Volition also is kind of... Volition doesn't want you to be here to begin with. He's like, you shouldn't be here at all. You should be a boring, simple, easy cop. On the other hand, Authority, the way Authority is written, is Authority, well, he wants you to take charge. You're the best fucking cop in the city. You're going to take charge. You're going to punch your way through. You're going to spit on them. They're lesser than you. Not to mention endurance or logic, savoir. All of these different things are all tied together and they're all very neatly written. That's one of the very important things. They're very neatly written, and they all play off the idea that Harry doesn't know who he is, and he's trying to adopt something. One of the problems of doing it like, oh, the players are taking the route of... One of the biggest issues of the players taking the route of the skills is that the GM has a lot of authority over the character all of a sudden that they shouldn't. Because if you really think about it, the skills don't do anything. Never once do you need to listen to any of your skills. Never once. But you do because they're offering insight. Volition is saying, lay off the fucking drink. You're going to kill yourself. You could drink. Nothing's stopping you from drinking. Volition's not going to beat it out of your hand. You're not going to, the character is not going to get mad at you for it. Volition just wants you to do that because you should trust Volition. Or maybe you don't trust Volition at all. Kind of the idea. The GM suddenly has a lot more authority over things, and he's now dictating results, while the skills are going to be just arguing at one another. That would promote a lot of argument. And kind of the idea of using... Everyone's building an individual person, trying to find themselves, and suddenly each of the characters have a little bit more going for them, and you're all trying to work with each other. We all defining one another. We don't choose everything about ourselves. That's one of the big things of the game, arguably, is you don't define every aspect of yourself. People give Harry things. Harry believes himself to be things based on what other people tell him he is. You're a super cop, you're a hobo cop, you're this, you're that, you're this. Listening to Kim a lot promotes different ideologies inside of you. Not listening to Kim. Listening to communists, not listening to communists. You're always getting more information about yourself. And that's why I'm thinking, like, it would be a very complicated method what you're doing, what you're proposing, you know, the active player, other players rotate and being active not. The idea is, it's there, it's just very complicated, and would maybe work better as a board game. But, like, the idea, the proposition here, the proposition is, you're trying to, have these intrinsic qualities about yourself that you are now suddenly trying to work around, work with, or even just try to get skills that you're just better with. Half-Awakened Dreamland seems pretty bad, but you might, you know, take a skill later on that gives, like, hey, go with the flow. You act without thinking. Because you're just kind of zoinked out a little bit. You're zoinked out a little bit, you fucking act without thinking. Or even you just write down is nightmare situation. You write down nightmare situation, you fucking click into action when you're in danger all of a sudden. Way more than normal. But one of the big things should be this. Touched by the fog. You don't have to be. You don't need to be touched by the fog. The literal schizophrenia fog that haunts Revenshaw. You don't need to be. Your skills won't talk to you then. Why would they? You're not insane. You're not losing your grip on reality. You're just these things. You're Sly Huckster, you're Smooth Operator, Beanstalk Thin, Half-Awakened Dreamland. You get some skills that go onto it. But it's kind of the idea the GM would be playing, if you're touched by the fog, you're going to define, hey, how do you actually communicate with them? You take weird phone calls in the middle of the night. You'll pop open a phone, you know, you'll go to a phone that's ringing for you and no one else. You'll listen to it, and you'll get these four mafioso guys yelling at you effectively, or demanding that you ask them, you know, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Do this, this, and this. Hey, do this, this, and this. I have your best interest in mind. Do what I say. Fuck him. He's wrong. They're all arguing with each other. You turn off the phone. You don't hear him again. Until next time, the phone. You could be in the middle of the street. Hey, that payphone's going off. I'm going to answer it. What the fuck are you doing? Trust me, believe me. I'm the one you should listen to. They can offer insight into you that maybe you don't know. Listen to them, get some new skills. Because remember, skills are just things that you are adopting. On the other hand, you're not touched by the fog. You don't have to worry about that. And you're perfectly rational. You're a perfectly fine person. It's kind of the idea of it, because it would be, I think one thing I would base it off of is unironically Stand By Me. Many of you know what Stand By Me is. Stand By Me is ultimately a story about four boys going to see a dead body. That's all this movie is. It's four boys going to see a dead body. And the odyssey they undertake to do such. What do they find out about themselves? What do they learn about themselves? Do they, you know, how do they react to one another? Why are they reacting the way they are to one another? And all of the problems and situations that erupt around it. Ultimately, these would be our four characters that we are going through. Each of them are defined both by their relationship to themselves, you know, relationship to their friends, but also relationships around them. A little nerdy, he's this, he's that. Movie ends, everyone clonks out. Pretty much the only kid who would be touched by the fog in this situation would be the main friend. I can't remember. It's been eons. It's been eons since I have seen fucking Stand By Me. But it would be, you know, the main guy at the end who gets stabbed and dies because he's a good person. Because just something that people kind of place on him. He is ultimately a nice person who ends up dying in a line by doing the right thing. And it's just quiet situation. You're like, oh fuck, like that's a sad situation, but we learned about ourselves. It is a odyssey of discovering who we are at the end of a journey. Harry learns who he is by the end of that investigation, but that's not what every Disco Elysium story should be. It's Harry. That's not what it should be. You should be exploring different avenues, different people, different situations. How do we deal with these people? How do we deal with a bunch of mob guys who are doing their best to, finish this, who have a shit ton of money suddenly in front of them? We're finding ourselves, everyone. How do we find ourselves behind sunglasses and nice suits? Who is Mr. Pink? Who is Mr. White? Who is Mr. Orange, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Yellow? Why are we in this situation? Why are we here? How did we get here? What are we placing on one another? How are we thinking about one another? And ultimately, how does the story end? Elysium works because it's effectively... Harry is such an ill-defined character, and we're allowed to put a lot of things on him. But it's also a solo experience. It's just us, the player. Us, the player, on a situation with Harry, trying to learn more about him. That's kind of the idea. So that was my big think when it came to Disco Elysium. And this is my big talk I had with Tufty, actually. Because Tufty wants to make a DE RPG, and he said he can't make just Disco Elysium just like that. You just can't say, oh, it's just just DE again. Like, no. You can't do that. Ow. It is also very late, and that's just the nature, like... Why are people... Why? Why are people sending me these things? Oh, but why? So, let's see. We need to do something very funny, though. We need to consult the forms, everybody. Get ready for the count. I should say the final count. What that means. Ooh. Yep, we didn't have people actually answer the the forms because of course they. So, let's see what the final responses came out to be, everyone. So let's do the final count. Metal Saviors versus Cruciform. So, all right, off to a start. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So, end of the first vote, end of the first line of voting. Best viewers. What do you mean? All my viewers are the best viewers, Loyal. What are you talking about? Every single one of my viewers are flawless creatures, and I love all. Go away. Bot mods crush his balls. Yes, the final count is now. Currently, Metal Saviors loses the Cruciform. But we still have the proletariat vote. Yes, if it came down to just... This is important. If it came down to literally just the patrons, this is what the final vote would be. This is what the final vote is going to look like. However, we have the proletariat vote. The proletariat vote to mitigate voter fraud. Yes, to mitigate voter fraud, I decided to collect emails from people. So this is it. We only had 29 responses this time. Yes, 29 responses, not 190 like we did. Who cares about the plebs? They're poor. Yep. Technically, I could just call it here and say Cruciform wins. But no, I said we're gonna count them. We had no problems. No one voted. No one voted dumb. So this is it. We're gonna scroll down, and we're gonna see who wins this final vote. We got all of these different emails here. Yeah, we got all of these cool things. We're gonna vote. All right, everyone. I want a drum roll, please. We're gonna do a little. We're gonna make this official. I give my $5 rather than Patreon. I feel that counts for something. Let's do Cruciform with 12, bringing us up to 46, and Metal Saviors with 17, bringing us up to 49. 3 votes. 3-vote victor. However, well, I mean, Spartan does make a good point. Spartan does make a good point. We do have a pretty significant thing right here. You know what, Spartan? I think I'm going to honor that, right? So Spartan, this is it. I'm gonna leave it all up to one man. I'm gonna leave it all up to one man. So Spartan, what'll it be? You got a couple options here. In your fatigued state of here. I'll give you all, everyone here right now. 12:30 at night. Right in the morning of May 31st. Should we give Spartan a multi-month member of the channel? He has been he has been here for 1 year. He's given money on Twitch for 1 year. $5 a month. Do we think we should give him the right for 5 votes? 5 votes in this defining situation. I see 2 yeses. Preemptively subverting said vote. So, you've got 5 tier 1 subs. Wow, thanks, Sterner. So this is important. I mean, people are saying that we should. We've got to. You know, people are saying yes to this. Both of you have been subbed for the same amount of time. So, if we're doing this correctly, 5 votes to Cruciform, to 51, and 5 votes to Metal Saviors, to 54. If we have any further subs that would like to participate, now is the time. You've been subbed for more than 5 months, you will be able to get the vote. This is so stupid. Yes, it is. Victor sold for 5 more. 5 more subs from Mick Drusa. Subbed for 4 months, though. Subbed for 4 months, but 5 to Cruciform. Ten gift subs from Sterner. Sterner, where do you want these votes to go? So, Sterner, where would you like these votes to go? Bringing us up to 64. Casually dropping a couple dollars. Would anyone else like to? For last minute voting? Oh, fuck it. Oh, the remarkable pettiness. This is the content that this is the content we need. How do I do this to make this even? Well, Solid, you can gift more subs. You can gift a total of I believe that would be 8 subs. 8 whole subs, and you can you would be able to do this. Is this exploiting anything? I feel like this shouldn't be allowed. Oh God, I'm going to hell. I feel like this shouldn't be the way this is being done. But here we are. Building the hype train to rig the vote. I will say, we'll give him 5 minutes. 12:40, we will call the vote. 5 minutes. And before 25 gifted subs! Imagine. Oh god. Oh god. This is the content. This is content, everybody. Alright, I mean, I'm not seeing anything. This might be the final count. We will give him a couple more minutes to react. This was very fun. Thank you all. Kissu kissu, love you all. You've all been very cool. You didn't need to do this. However, I do find it funny. Not going to lie here. I do find this very funny. So, just... well... The thing is, currently, we were kind of in a betting match there, Scribble. We're kind of in a betting match because, Cruciform was winning, actually. Patron's vote succeeds. Gods, you hit a level 5 hype trade. Poop. I mean, hype trade level 5. Vic Drusel 10. 10 for Cruciform. 66. Vic Drusel. We hit a level 5. What is this? Oh, and we get 10 more. 10 more subs to Metal Saviors. Is that correct? Oh, why are you all doing this? You don't need to do this. Bankrupt myself further. The record hype trade for the memes. Again, Metal Saviors is currently winning for currently winning by a let's see, it would be for 8 votes. We're again we've got a couple more minutes, three minutes to sub this out to say 12:40. Mick Drusel for 20 votes! So, Mick Drusel, where would you like to put those 20 votes? 86 to 74. 20 to Cruciform. Oh, is that even right? Yeah, that would be 20 to Cruciform. We're at 8. Metal Queens. Solid might come in yet. He's got 2 minutes. Remarkably kind of all of you, by the way. All of you are very kind. All of you are very nice for doing this. You don't need to do this, as I've said before. You do not need to do this at all. But you did. So here we are. because I have decided to give Spartan, someone who has been for a year giving me money. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna give him 5 votes. He did it. How does it feel, Spartan, to be directly responsible for this? 2 community sub gifts, 2 votes for nuns, bringing it up to 88. Bringing it up to 88. We have 1 minute. 1 minute to end game, everyone. I think it's Jover. I think it might be Jover, Kings. Yep. I'm gonna call it there. 20 more gift subs! Last minute! Last minute 20 gift subs to Metal Saviors, I guess. Is that correct? Would you like to give those 20 to Metal Saviors at the 11th hour? Give me 20. Give me 10 more to Crucifer. That's it. This is it. We're calling it. It's over. It's done. 0. We have finished. It's 12:41. 40 minutes past the date I even said it was. This is it. It's Jover. It's done. Last minute. Crucifer wins by 4 votes at a level 11 hype train. The betting war ends at the 11th hour. Why did you all do this? You didn't need to do this. You came in last second, Sterner. He came in last second. 11th hour. Considering it's pre-Kickstarter funding. Jesus, how, what do I even... Yeah, I don't think I'll actually know how much I ended off here. Sterner, it's over. I'm sorry, Sterner, it's done. But thank you again. Thank you. You all are very, very kind, very cool. I love you all. Kind of last. Hey, look, if McDrizzle could vote past the deadline. I called it. You voted past the deadline. He voted past the deadline. All of you are voting past the deadline. I called it. I shouted it. Everyone voted past the deadline. Came in at 12:40. All of you voted last second. I'm sorry, Sterner. But here's what I'll do to make it up for everybody. How many did he even get just now? To give you an idea, we said when the hype train ends. To give you an idea, I started out with 18 subscribers. I started with 18 subscribers. Currently we are at 110. So it was 92 times. Roughly, I made about $230 just now, roughly speaking. No, Spartan, there is not a minute and a half left on the hype train. Then the hype train will never end. I called it at 12:40. Everyone got their last second votes in. It's done. We called it over. But here's what I'm gonna do, since it came down to the wire and people throw in money. Here's what I'll do. I will. How about this? We're gonna make a compromise here. I'll see about reduxing metal saviors up to the point of making it into a better place. It will not be the obsession project, but it will be a continuous project that we come back to and we update, we improve, we make it better. We get it to a better place than it is currently. We'll really effectively do a redux on it. We'll add a bunch of things, and we will effectively said, what we will effectively do is we will call it we'll effectively call it a redux. If things go smoothly with Cruciform, we will be effectively able to just immediately launch into Metal Saviors and make that really good. You received a level 10 hype trade emote. Yep, it's hype trade level 11. 97 gift subs and 1,100 rules fixes without the art. In fact, yes. We'll overhaul it to make it as best as we can. Once we overhaul things, make it as best we can. Again, we'll be able to know that I will release it. I'll release the fixed version, quote unquote, similar to. We will release fixed version on itch, obviously free as well. We'll still be using AI art, but that's the best we can compromise with. But yes. Thank you all. That was immensely thankful for all of you. That was really cool. Love you all. If things go according to plan, and if I say things go according to plan, the goal would be we are going to. It's Christmas Christ. The goal there is going to be I keep getting like things like you received a level 7 hype train emote. You received a level X hype train emote. I'm like, uh-oh. What we will do is I'll release the Redux Metal Saviors as best I can. If you have any notes, anything you want to see from Metal Saviors, anything you want to fix up, or anything you're noticing, feel free to tell me. I will do my best to fix everything up as best I can. But we're going to dedicate a lot of time to Cruciform. And when Cruciform is done, we will probably immediately set up on doing Metal Saviors. No vote or anything. You can hold me all to that. Make sure to note it down. If I start making horrifying notes saying, oh, hey, we should totally do this at the last minute or whatever, if we should totally do this, then I will hold me to it for this. Make sure to clip all this shit as well. So thank you all. You're all very cool. I love you all. You're an amazing community. You are all great people. Do you want to ring the vote? Oh god, you guys didn't need to spend that much money on me. Oh no. But yes, that is what we're going to be doing. We will overhaul. Effectively, we're going to be overhauling both games at this point. So, well, it's a win-win for everybody, I guess. Everybody wins. So, thank you. Art direction shit. Yes, I will. We will talk later. So, thank you all. You're all great people. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Hope you all sleep well. Remember, never put yourself in financial, burden to pay me money, which is silly, but you're all lovely people. I hope to see you again Tomorrow we will be working more on Fortissimo. Notepad, you let Cruciform win. Scribble. What occurred? What occurred here was Spartan made a very valid thing. He has donated $5 a month for over a year at this point. He made a good point, and then a bidding war started. And a fight for survival happened. Always remember, Scribble. Believe in the plutocrats. I am as they say away. Godspeed. Good luck.